Okay, so firstly, I'd like to give a warm welcome to everyone able to attend our presentation. Today, we would like to present to you our marketing research report about personal breathalyzers that we have undertaken on behalf of Andertech. Today, we'll take you through our research brief and design, moving on to a more detailed description of our analysis and concluding with the findings. The aim of our research was to provide more insights into the consumers and potential consumers, their awareness and perceived value of the product. To do this, we selected a relevant target market of those aged 18 to 24 years old living in Victoria who hold a driver's license and consume alcohol. We undertook a web-based survey disseminated through a variety of avenues to ensure we had a mix of people from different backgrounds to provide a more accurate representation of the population. Through the survey, we attempted to assess specific areas such as the usage of the device, perceived monetary and non-monetary value, and where consumers placed importance on the device key elements. It was through the initial receipt of results that we soon realized there wasn't really a question about awareness, as all participants knew of the device, but more at the likelihood of purchase, and then to what the target audience in this situation valued to be important when considering the purchase of such an item.
Upon looking at the results, we were able to develop an interesting picture of the sample, representing the target populations and their understandings and beliefs about the personal breathalyzer devices. From the survey information, we were able to gather the following: that 93% of the representatives sample consumed alcohol, 44.8% have used a personal breathalyzer, while only 10% own a personal breathalyzer. Only 26% of people surveyed were highly likely or were likely to purchase a breathalyzer, with the majority of people being undecided or unlikely to. 40% of people had not seen a breathalyzer for sale, and the majority of people believed that the cost of a quality personal breathalyzer should be between $101 and $300. From the analysis of the data collected, we were able to conclude that although consumers are aware of breathalyzers being available, the majority are not likely to purchase one. Considering that the vast majority of people indicated that this product could assist them in some way, it is a bit surprising. We saw that 40% of respondents had not even seen a breathalyzer for sale, with 30% of people seeing the devices for sale online. Through the survey, we wanted to assess what would impact a potential consumer's decision to purchase. The most valued components were what we decided to focus on to see if there was one element that stood above the others. And we saw that accuracy and reliability were both on par with each other, but overall the most influential factor was the cost. This research report makes it apparent that price needs to be the key consideration, as it is the major influencer. Accuracy and reliability are both important and need to be taken into account, but to increase the likelihood of purchase, price needs to be the main focus. The majority of people believe that a personal breathalyzer should cost between $101 and $300.
There are multiple limitations of our study that are centralised around the overall reliability of the data collected. The major cause of this is the short time period that we had to collect, interpret and analyse the data before presenting the results. We found that collecting the required number of responses to satisfy the required 90% confidence interval to be a challenge. We had initially determined that our sample size needed to be 572 people, so we had hoped to collect a total of 10% of this figure, meaning that 57 responses would be required. In order to meet the required deadline, we had to finalise our data collection process with a total of 30 responses, which was just over half of the required responses and means that our results are less reliable than we had hoped. Additionally, due to the short time period that we had, we determined that a questionnaire was the most efficient data collection technique. However, other data collection techniques, such as interviewing, may provide more accurate information, but is also more time consuming. There may also be elements of bias present in our results. The participants who completed our questionnaire may have answered the questions according to how they may think we wanted the questions to be answered. And finally, the questionnaire that we asked our participants to complete should only form the initial parts of the research and only provides preliminary data that can then be used to generate further surveys and data collection methods. The main departure from the planned research was the alteration of our initial hypothesis. The initial hypothesis was about awareness of the product, whether people had heard of the product and would be willing to purchase one. Upon receiving the survey results, we discovered that the data collected would be more beneficial to answer questions beyond this hypothesis and place greater focus on the likelihood of purchase and what elements are viewed as the most important when making this decision. Therefore, our new hypothesis was, for those in the sample group representing the 18 to 24-year-old age group who own a license to drink alcohol and live in Victoria, what level of importance is placed on the accuracy of a personal breathalyzer and what will determine the likelihood of their purchase?
In conclusion, the report began by looking into the awareness the target market had of personal breathalyzers, but changed focus slightly towards the likelihood of actually purchasing one. The survey used was able to provide insights into what factors would influence a person's decisions to purchase, and the findings of those surveyed, price was the biggest factor, whilst accuracy and reliability were also important. The survey was let down by the total number of respondents, as we were only able to generate around half the numbers that we set out to. However, the information gathered should not be discarded and can be used to establish further research into how to increase the amount of sales of personal breathalyzers. The final outcome from this research report is that awareness of the product is not an issue, as a large percentage of people have seen or used a personal breathalyzer. While people are aware of the product, over 40% of people claim not to have seen a personal breathalyzer for sale. There is still so much more information that could be gathered and used to provide more in-depth understanding of the product and the target market's perception. We hope our research will prove to be a valuable piece of that puzzle. Thank you.